Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Tactical Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Easter Sunday. So this is our Sunday Stock Talk. For those that are tuning in for the first time, what's going on, team? My name is Ricky. I run the largest YouTube channel and the largest private Facebook group in the world for those who invest and day trade in the stock market. The group is absolutely for free. So if you now have extra time and you want to connect with people and learn more about how to get started as a complete beginner investing or day trading in the stock market, you guys can refresh your screen. The first link down below is to our free Facebook group. We have over 257,000 members. And of course, if you're just getting started, we would love to be of assistance for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I hope that throughout this video, you can learn something new and you can consider dropping a thumbs up. So let's go ahead and get right to it. I really hope that the quality of this live stream is a little bit better. Let's go ahead and see what everyone has to say. But for all those that are going to be asking, I am using, is it still lagging? No. I literally have no idea what's going on with, wow. Okay. I have no idea what's going on. We have, I thought we have like Google, or what is it called? Gigablast. Like, I think it's, yeah, right, 1,000 megabytes or whatever that is. So everyone is joining and it's causing it to lag. Super laggy. Is it still lagging or is it just me, guys? All right, I'm going to give it like 1 or 2 minutes, see if it begins to kind of fix itself. And but audio is 100%. So okay, well, I hope that you guys could at least hear me right now. It might be because we're having a number of people maybe joining the live stream right now. So let's see. I do apologize, but again, for those that are tuning in for the first time, our Sunday Stock Talks are designed to kind of just help us get started for the overall week, to kind of understand what our members are paying attention to, and how it is that we can approach the overall market. I'm not too sure if you guys have been paying attention to the overall market direction, but there is no question that the market's been showing signs of a potential recovery. It became a little bit more on the overbought side, and one of the things that we can see right now is /NQ is the NASDAQ future. So pretty much what this is telling us is that NASDAQ is already down 1.2%. So if the market were to open at this same general area, we would be opening up in the red, meaning that the overall market would be down just a little bit, right? It's not too significant, but overall, so audio is good, video is very laggy. How's the Maverick? All right. Seems to be good right now. Again, guys, I really do apologize if there is a lag on this overall live stream. I really hope that for those that are rewatching it, the stream is a little bit better. And yeah, so feel free for all those that are tuning on in and would like me to break down whatever stock it is that you see value in. Feel free to share the ticker symbol. I want to keep this very short and sweet. Trust me, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time on Easter Sunday. I know you guys probably just want to spend time with your family, with your loved ones, and I get that. So let me go ahead and I just want to break down whatever stocks it is that you guys see value in, and we can go from there. So we got ticker symbol GSX. So let's go ahead and break it down. So GSX, and I'm going to put this on the 180-day 4-hour time frame. One of the things that I do want to remind you is that all the stocks that we talk about in this video are in no way any stock suggestions. This is just us coming together as a team, sharing ideas, sharing opinions. At the end of the day, I really hope that you can just, enjoy these Sunday stock talks. Maybe you can cherry pick if you find any of the stocks that we talk about attractive. You can cherry pick them and add them to your watch list, and then follow up with them and set your alerts when it makes sense. So it's good. It just keeps lagging when you join. Okay, so GSX overall, I really do like it that it's been showing signs of very consistent uptrend pattern, even during the March and during this entire coronavirus outbreak, it's been still doing a pretty good job maintaining. It wasn't until recently that it began to overall downtrend. It's been making lower lows, it's been making lower highs. I see why it is that you're talking about this. At an 8% day, almost a 9% day on Thursday because the market was closed on Friday. So I could see why it is that you're now paying attention to it. I'm going to set my alert here once it begins to break above 35.50, and I'm also going to set my alert here if it breaks below 31.57. So I'm going to set my alert on both of those sides, just making sure that I'm updated on the overall direction. One of the things that I do want to point out is that it's been making lower highs. So it's been an overall descending pattern. So it wouldn't be much of a surprise if it does begin to get rejected and continues to make new lows. So instead of getting in and hoping that it continues to go up, I think it would be in our best interest where you really just challenge yourself to be a little bit more patient and allow the direction to kind of prove itself. Is it going to make higher highs? Then let's follow up with it. Or is it going to get rejected? And then in that case, it's going to pay you to be patient, right? As you don't want to get in and then it ends up changing overall direction. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one is going to be from, I think, what is it? Sarin Sound. So it's going to be ticker symbol ET. So here we go. So it's trading at $5.81. Overall, this wasn't really an overall uptrend pattern before the market began to change directions. You can see that it began to aggressively sell off. It's trying to uptrend right now. It's looking a little bit more on the overbought side based off of previous highs. It is doing a very good job for the past 5-7 days holding above this EMA line. So if you find that to be consistent enough and you like the margin that it offers intraday, I can see why you could potentially want to day trade it, but it looks like it quickly changed directions on Thursday. Let's go on the 5-day, 5-minute chart. So it's very easy. It looks like it's very simple to understand the low points, the high points, and the overall low points. So overall, it would be in our best interest. First of all, this is a lower cap stock, so it comes at a greater risk. Something you need to take into consideration. This is definitely not for everyone, especially as it's been aggressively selling off. One of the things that, again, I do want to remind you is that it's been doing a very good job getting rejected around $6 for the past, month. It hasn't really held above $6. Patterns tend to repeat themselves, so they don't have to, right? At the end of the day, if it continues to uptrend, great, all power to you. But do not be surprised if it ends up breaking below the EMA line and it heads right back down to $4. So whatever it is that you plan to do, yes, I do agree that it has a really good intraday play. Even on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, it's been doing a very good job holding above the EMA line. Just make sure that pattern continues. And if there's a break of pattern, then you need to make sure that you have some form of risk management in place to understand when to get out if it overall begins to change its direction. So what's going on, Danny? We got ticker symbol CCL. I appreciate you posting it in the ticker call out format, taking time out of your day and making sure that you set up a plan, right? So Carnival Corp units, looks like it's been almost consolidating before this all happened, aggressively sold off. It makes sense as the market entirely has been selling off. It looks like it's been trying to consolidate, so it's not even recovering as great as the overall market. So that's, a red flag, right? It's not even recovering as the market's beginning to recover little by little. And this is showing you that it's just not indicating any signs of any bullish pattern, right? Every time that it does push up, even for the past 5 days, it already looks overbought. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, and based off of previous patterns, it looks like it has been making higher lows. So I think that, in my opinion, and again, it's just that CCL has a lot to prove before I would want to buy right now. So right now, looking at how it's been getting rejected and how it tries to push up and then gets rejected, it's making lower highs, meaning that every time that it tries to push up, it's lower than its previous high, and then it makes new lows. So as of right now, again, it's great that it's been above the EMA line, but with the market already /NQ, it's already in the red. It wouldn't be much of a surprise that if this thing does continue to pull back, it breaks below the EMA line, that it can head right back down to $7, $8, and stuff like that. So again, please understand that when the overall direction is not in your favor, especially as a complete beginner, the trend is your friend, and it's much easier. It's not easy, but it's much easier to make money in the stock market when the overall direction is in your favor. And this is the exact opposite. The reason a lot of people like to invest in, even day trade companies like Apple, like Tesla, like Amazon, like Microsoft, is because when the market was pretty much normal, they would make, I'll show you an example. It was much easier to make a profit off of something that's consistently uptrending. It's much more difficult. It's not impossible, but it's much more difficult to make money as something is, again, selling off. So So you just have to ask yourself, again, is this something that you really want to partake in? If it is, great. If it's not, then there's nothing wrong with that. Be empowered to be your own person and be empowered to understand what and when it's okay to walk away. So I'm going to set my alert at 14:30 just so we can follow up with it if it actually ends up beginning to make higher highs. There could be a change of direction, but I just think that it's a strong enough descending pattern that I wouldn't be too surprised if it does continue to sell off. So here we go. Let's go ahead and give other people a try. So we got ticker symbol ACV. What's going on, Paul? I appreciate you tuning on in. Hope everything is good. Hope you're eating some good food during Easter, because I had Panda Express and it was not that yummy. It's making my stomach hurt a little bit. But ACV, overall, again, I like to look at the overall direction that it had before the market began to sell off. It looks like it was doing a pretty decent job making higher highs, higher lows. It hit highs of 26.66, and then it aggressively sold off. It's beginning to recover. So it's a strong recovery based off of how the market has been recovering. So it's doing a really good job with that. It's pretty much almost recovered 50% of the drop. But again, understand that if the market again continues to drop and ACV follows, then just take that into consideration. If you plan investing into this long term, then I think that your overall focus should not be in technical analysis and anything like this, but again, have a long-term investing plan and more on the fundamental side instead of just the technicals. Of course, you want to get in when it's a good deal, but as of right now, it wouldn't even meet that criteria either. The RSI is overbought, the MACD is overextended. It makes sense on why it can pull back. The overall market is overbought, right? We could be in the very early stages of a potential pullback once again. Can it continue to make higher highs? Of course, and that's why I have my alert set right here. But when it comes down to ACV and what it has to offer, I'll set my alert here to see if it actually ends up making higher highs. But in my opinion, even if this were to be a short-term swing trade, it's overbought enough, meaning that it's not a good deal, in which that if it does pull back, I would much rather try to wait for that opportunity so I can get it for a better deal. And then if I want, again, a short-term swing trade, want to sell it back at where it's at right now, or if it decides to make new highs. So definitely something that we can follow up with. I'm going to make sure that I set my alert once, and if it doesn't have to, right? It can continue to uptrend. If it breaks below 1830. So that's around where the EMA line is at right now on the 180-day 4-hour chart. So Blake Phillips, we got ticker symbol ERI. So I appreciate you posting this in the ticker call out format. How's the video now? How's the stream? Is it doing a little bit better? It's probably not the best still, right? How is it? Are we holding in there? Lagging really bad? Nope. It looks like Rick, you have to pay your internet bill. Trust me, no, it's so we're good on this side. It's just again, I do want to apologize that it's lagging so much right now. So hopefully you guys can hear me enough that you guys can be performing this technical analysis with me with your own trading platform. So ERI, so we got Eldorado Resorts. So it looks like it's a hotel, right? A series of hotels that have been very negatively influenced by the coronavirus and all this outbreak, right? It looks like it was doing a very good job as, when it was thriving. Then all this unfortunate news sent it from $70 down to $6.02. So there's no question that it's very oversold. Big picture, you guys can see here that last time it got rejected right around $20. Does it have to get rejected there again? It doesn't have to. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. At the end of the day, it's just your part to get in when it makes sense. And I think that it's pretty obvious that we can see that there could be an easy resistance right around $20, meaning that it could easily get rejected. It can continue to make new lows. So again, you just want to make sure that you do your part as a trader or your part as an investor to understand the low points, the high points, the low points, the high points. And yes, it can continue to uptrend, but it also wouldn't be much of a surprise if it does begin to pull back. So I'm going to set my alert if it does begin to break below the EMA line. And I'm also going to set my alert if it actually begins to make new highs. I actually really like this one. I really like how it was trading before the market began to sell off, which I find to be pretty interesting. So, let's see. Oh, the stream. Wow. Why is there so much lag? Yeah, I wish I had that answer for you. I don't know. It's definitely something that I'm going to make sure that I have to fix for our live trading sessions tomorrow for Learn Plan Profit. We definitely can't have these lags. So can I invest underage? So Miguel, one of the first things that I would encourage you to do is get in contact with your parents and make sure that you have their approval. You can open up a custodial account, but if you're underage, one of the first things that I would consider you doing is you open up a custodial account, you can open up a paper trading account, and it's fake money. It allows you to practice everything that you are learning online, and you can learn from a bunch of videos on YouTube. I have nearly 2,000 or over 2,000 videos on YouTube alone, and especially because you're so young, you have nothing but time. So there's no reason to rush the process. If you want to invest, if you just want to explore what the stock market has to offer, I think that's great, but you need to understand the resources that you have available, especially if there's some free alternatives. And a lot of this is available even if you are at a very young age. So, but again, you just need to make sure that you have your parents' permission for that. So your Ethernet cable is plugged into a potato. That was a good one. I gotta give that to you. So I'm gonna break down just 3 or 4 more stocks. We'll keep it super short and sweet, and then we'll say goodbye then. So I do apologize. Trust me, this isn't something that I wanted to experience during one of the live streams. So I like Kroger. Kroger, very consistent uptrend pattern, even during this very unfortunate time. Kroger is doing a very good job maintaining that like well-balanced uptrend pattern. Have we been making higher highs? No, not necessarily, but we're not aggressively selling off either. As Kroger makes, a lot of these goods that a lot of people are consuming a lot of as of right now. So as of right now, overall, I do agree that it's approaching the SMA line. It normally bounces around this general area. It normally gets rejected around this general area right around $33. So seeing that it's around 31 to approaching 30, I could see how there could be an easy reversal. So if you find this margin of profit to be worth it, you see the opportunity and you either want to invest in it or short-term swing trade it, I can actually really like that you brought this one up. So I set my alert there, but again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. Kroger can begin to sell off, and that's why you just have to set your alerts on both sides. So that's actually, KR has to be right now, out of every stock we've broken down, one of my favorites so far. So here we go. Jeremy, I appreciate you posting ticker call out format. So we got ticker symbol FANG, so FANG. Here we go. This one's a little bit different. This was already a descending pattern, and then the overall market began to sell off, which only acted as more of a negative catalyst to drive the price down. Now it's testing this SMA line, which has acted as a resistance multiple times before. So again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. So I know I'm super annoying with that, but you need to understand that like things, just because they've happened before, don't have to happen again right away, right? And yes, I do agree that it's overbought, overextended. It just wouldn't be much of a surprise for me if this thing does continue to break below the EMA line and make lower lows. The overall direction is a descending pattern. It's recovered enough where it makes sense that it can get rejected. And altogether, we've always talked about a risk to reward ratio and the upside potential versus the downside potential based off of this overall descending pattern. It just makes more sense that FANG has potential to drop rather for it to continue to uptrend based off of its previous performance. So here we go. So we got USO. Alrighty. USO. All right, so overall strong uptrend patterns. This is United States oil. Oil has been doing very bad. I can date back to, I believe this is when the news happened of Saudi Arabia and Russia, the very unfortunate news of like the overall oil war that they're having. Huge drop. There was really good news last week for oil that they might cut back and slow down production. So that's what caused this kind of like bullish sentiment. But overall, the overall direction of oil is still very bearish. So again, it's a descending pattern. So I do agree. Oil is super cheap right now. So I love that you guys are finding your own stocks. And I think another one, so this is an ETF. This is USO. The one that I know is WTI, which also got very negatively affected. But as of right now, it looks like it's in the very early stages of a potential reversal, or it could again continue to get rejected. So I think these are great stocks and ETFs that you guys can add to your watch list, and you guys can follow up with when they actually begin to recover and indicate signs of an uptrend. As of right now, I think that especially if you're a beginner trader, it's just very difficult to, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult, especially if you're just getting started, when the overall direction, again, is just a strong descending pattern, and you might not just have the experience to understand when to get in and when to get out, or overall risk management. So I'm really happy that you shared this one with us. I just think that because it's been selling off for such a long period of time, that it would be in our overall best interest to give it more time to confirm, and start making higher highs. So we got ticker symbol PI, so NS. Here we go. Strong descending pattern even before this overall news of the coronavirus. This just negatively influenced it in more of a negative manner. So overall, strong descending pattern. It's been trying to uptrend. It's approaching the SMA line. It normally does a very good job getting rejected by the SMA line. Can it continue to uptrend? Of course. Would it make sense because of how overextended and how overbought it is that it can begin to pull back? Of course. So again, before you go into this Pinterest, before you go into this long term, just understand with everything that is going on, is Pinterest something that is thriving right now that can continue to uptrend? Or even on the technical side, does it make sense that it can get rejected here and begin to make new lows? Wouldn't it suck to get in right now in such a critical price point where you end up buying and then it just ends up getting rejected and it goes back to $10? Just make sure that you do your part in waiting for confirmation, especially when we're at a critical point where we can see an easy change of direction. So I'm going to do, all right, so PSTI. So I think this should be 3, yeah, that's 10 already. And I wanted to break down a couple. I saw a couple of you guys talk about American Airlines and United Airlines and stuff like that. I'm all for. So this is a therapeutics. This is showing me complete signs of a pump and dump. I would personally stay away with it from this. It looks like it pushed up 43%, so maybe that's why it's in your radar. Maybe it popped up in one of your scanners. Maybe people were talking about it. At the end of the day, you can make money doing anything. At the end of the day, just look at the previous times that this thing pushes up for a very short period of time, and then it sells off, and it normally makes new lows. These are what are viewed to be pump and dumps. Again, understand that nothing in life worth having will ever come easy. And the stock market is no exception. So if you want to partake in these, that's up to you. If you're a complete beginner, trust me, it sucks when you buy at the very top and it ends up pulling back. Just make sure that you do your part as a trader, that you have a plan and an understanding and a reason for every trade that you take. And if the risk to reward ratio is not worth it and it doesn't meet your criteria, trading has a lot to do with self-discipline and when to understand when to not take that trade and simply walk away. And in my opinion, looking at the upside potential versus the downside potential, you have more to lose here than you do to gain. And this is something where you need to acknowledge and try to make sense of it. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. So we have a lot of people talking about American Airlines. We have a lot of people talking about, what is that? Is that Shake or Shack? All right, let's see. Shake Shack, overall strong descending pattern. This thing has a lot to prove, so I'm not even going to overcomplicate it. It's been pushing up, market's been pushing up, so that doesn't surprise me. I think that we're still in the very early stages of this thing getting rejected. If it actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, we could follow up with it, but it wasn't even doing that hot before this whole outbreak came about, so I can only imagine that it's going to be doing that much worse as we continue to move on. So AAL is American Airlines. It had a very consistent kind of like horizontal pattern. It was trading in between $25 to about $30 for months. You guys could see that for almost 5 months. It did a very good job. Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. People love horizontal patterns. I don't know if you guys prefer it more than uptrend patterns or descending patterns, but as of right now, American Airlines and overall airlines have been one of the biggest sectors in our market that has had a negative impact because of the coronavirus. We're down, if I'm not mistaken, 90% based off of last year's travel. 90% less people are traveling. People just obviously, will due to all the restriction and obviously the fear of this pandemic, it makes sense. So I think as they begin to report their earnings and how unfortunate it's going to be, things most likely will only get worse before they get better. So I do agree. It is uptrending. This might be something that you might want to consider as a long-term investment. I just don't think that we've seen the worst, and I think the worst is yet to come. So again, that's just my opinion. I'm going to set my alert here. I think it's overbought. Looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, I think patience is definitely going to be a virtue when it comes down to investing and even trading these overall long-term. The direction is not in your favor. It's a descending pattern, and it's one of the companies and one of the sectors that has been most negatively affected because of this pandemic. Those are triple negatives on why I don't think that any airline as of right now is something that I would consider that I would want to go into. But again, that's just my opinion. So we have a lot of people, let's see. All right, so we have a lot of people asking for me to break down their stock, but not enough posting it in the ticker call out format. So I wanted to break down natural gas, and just to give people a heads up on kind of like what's going on. Overall, I think natural gas on the 180-day chart is overbought, but because of this news of crude oil, if you guys didn't see, they plan to slow down production for crude oil, natural gas being a byproduct of crude oil. It only makes sense on why then natural gas would go up if crude oil goes up. I do want to remind you that overall, natural gas has been a descending pattern. It's been making lower lows and lower highs. Therefore, it's doing a good job right now as it pulled back. It looks like it's trying to bounce off of this SMA line, and maybe it's heading to try to make new highs. The MACD looks good. The RSI looks good. Everything looks good right now for you guys. Natural gas is already up 2.6%, but this means absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, this is the futures market, and if by the time the market opens tomorrow, if natural gas is right back down at 1.74, then there's going to be no difference on how it closed that on Thursday and how it's opening today. So right now, natural gas looks bullish as it's been making higher highs and higher lows, and it hasn't been selling off yet. But also, I do want to remind you that on Thursday, we hit highs of 179 multiple times, right? So with that being said, just know that also within the same day, it got rejected all the way down to 173. So direction is super important, even as a day trader and especially as an investor. You want to make sure that you understand the low points, the high points, and oversold or overbought for whatever it is that you are trading, taking into consideration that, is it in your best interest to focus on this, or better to set your alert and then follow up with it maybe when it's a better deal. So I'm really excited to see what this overall week has to offer, and I'm going to set my series of alerts. Right now, we're trading above the middle VWAP, so if it begins to make lower lows and lower highs, I just want to be alerted. And I also already have my alert set right here at 180. As you guys can see, that was a resistance on Thursday. So if we break above 180, then hey, then that can be an indication that natural gas is going to try to make new highs on the 180-day chart. But overall, it wouldn't be much of a surprise to me if we just see natural gas to begin to pull back. So, alrighty. All right. Well, again, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I really hope that hopefully it's clear enough now that you guys can see me for a little bit. But I just wanted to stop on in, wanted to at least spend some time with you guys and break down a couple stocks that you guys saw value in. If I didn't get to your stock, all you guys need to do is, if you guys are part of our free investing group, or if you guys are part of Learn Plan Profit, just feel free to tag me in the group alert or in the watch list section, and I'll be sure to break it down for you. Also, I really hope that it earned your thumbs up throughout this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and friendly reminder that our Easter sale does end tonight. So like you guys heard me, I'm going to be trading live tomorrow at Market Open. And if you want to join our team and you have the time now, more than ever before, right? If you're interested in learning more about how to trade in the stock market, I'm one of the only people that trade live every single day, Monday through Friday. So if you want to learn more about that, that second link down below will get you guys $50 off the Learn Plan Profit course, and you guys can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. So really do appreciate you guys' time. I wish you and your families and your loved ones an amazing Easter Sunday, and I will see all of our Learn Plan Profit members tomorrow at Market Open for our live trading session. Again, I do sincerely apologize for the unfortunate lag on this video. I will make sure that I try to fix that as soon as possible to get ready for our live trading session tomorrow. So like always, team, let's make sure that we end the year